Sonic Frontiers has finally released and the game is great! It seems both Sonic fans and the general public are enjoying running through the Starfall Islands, and not a single day has gone by that a clip or tweet has shown up praising the game. There's so much content in this game and most of it is to a high standard, but unfortunately there are some things in this game that are holding it back. And these aren't your average everyday nitpicks. No, these problems are low-key ruining the game experience and they should be fixed in a quality of life update. I'm not gonna ask for anything crazy like 50 new skins or a photo mode or make Tails, Amy and Nox playable. Now that's for a different video. Today we're gonna go through the important bugs and features that Sonic Team needs to patch for Sonic Frontiers. So grab a snack, maybe drop me a thumbs up if you end up enjoying this video. Let's get this bread. Okay, with this first one I'm gonna sound like a broken record if you see my previous videos, but de nouveau. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this topic for too long because I've literally mentioned it in like 3 of my videos, but de nouveau is a DRM that's used to stop piracy of the game it's latched onto. Unfortunately, although it works wonders for the company, it usually ends up bloating the executable file of the actual game and worsening performance by a lot. This issue is only on PC, which sucks because PC ports tend to be the most customizable, but you may as well get the PlayStation or Xbox version if you don't want to suffer from random lag spikes. My solution? Optimize the game better and tone down the DRM. Now, I'm not suggesting that Sega completely gets rid of it because it simply means more people will pirate the game. However, it doesn't make sense for the people who are actually paying good money for this game to have a worse experience. Sonic Mania had a horrendous DRM that made it extremely laggy at the time and forced the player to be online, but then was removed after enough people complained and it became a common issue. Just optimize the game, come on Sega. Alright, the second thing I'm going to talk about is the lack of boss replayability. The Sonic Frontiers bosses are absolutely cracked and just fighting one of these is definitely an experience to write home about, but that's just it. After you beat one, the experience is over. You can't go back and rematch a boss, which is strange because almost all of the previous modern Sonic games have had that feature, so why doesn't Frontiers? Similarly, I cannot find a single way to rewatch the in-game cutscenes that didn't involve using an outside source such as YouTube or ripping the game files yourself. Obviously, the average consumer is not even gonna think of the latter and you shouldn't need to open a website to rewatch cutscenes from the game you purchased. Sonic Forces had it for literally every cutscene in the game, so I don't see why this was missed. Maybe due to time constraints? The same could be said for almost everything on this list, to be honest, after hearing about Sonic Team's surprisingly minuscule size of 60 developers. Sega, hire more people! In fact, give Sonic Team more budget for this next game. If this is what they've managed to cook so far, imagine a Sonic game made with the proper budget and the team size of an industry standard dev team. I'm just drooling thinking about it. Another obvious patch that needs to happen is a stability patch to fix all the popping for this game. There is a lot of it. Maybe not as much as the original reveal video back in June, but there's still enough for me to add this as a complaint in this video. Technically, this does tie back to my first point about optimizing the game, but I guess I really need to hammer on this point because certain effects / landmarks just jumped into existence without any smoothing or fade, or simply don't load at all, unless you pause the game and give it a chance to refresh and then you continue gaming. Yes, this wasn't recorded on an emulator guys, this was the actual PC port, and as potato as a PC can get, there's absolutely no excuse for an entire forest section to just spawn in like that. This next feature doesn't seem substantial at first, but after locking puzzles in the game in this way, they kind of did this to themselves. I'm talking about a toggle for the day-night cycle in Sonic Frontiers. Well, it's actually amazing to see one in a Sonic game and a proper one that's not tied to a gimmick like Unleashed. I don't see why there shouldn't be a toggle to switch between the day and night, especially as there are puzzles locked to nighttime and you need to do every single puzzle to fully unlock the island you're on. That literally means finding the puzzle, waiting until nighttime, unless you get lucky and find it at nighttime, attempting to solve the puzzle before daybreak, and if you're unsuccessful, waiting for the entire damn cycle to repeat itself so you can have another shot at solving that puzzle. This was especially cumbersome as I personally don't like to rely on online tutorials to solve a puzzle in a game. I will literally sit there for 30 minutes if I have to before searching up a YouTube tutorial, but in this game where day and night comes and goes, this won't always be practical. And even if we want to put all the puzzle stuff aside, aside, almost literally every open world game allows you to trigger between times of day. Even Pokemon Legends Arceus, which has partitioned off areas like frontiers instead of one giant map. It's just a neat feature to have, and I think it should be included in the next update. While a new Game Plus mode isn't necessary, it could also be a cool feature to add. Big open world games such as Spider-Man PS4, which is surprisingly similar to Sonic Frontiers, have this feature, and essentially it allows you to replay the game's story and bosses from the beginning while keeping all the new upgrades that the player would have unlocked in the skill tree. This could be a good alternative to re-battling the bosses at will, although to be honest, I'd much rather we get both of these features added in a quality of life update rather than just one. Playable Supersonic in the overworld map could also be an additional feature that the devs could lock behind New Game Plus so that the players could have an incentive to replay the game again, but it's not really as important as the other things such as optimization. Now, Coco trading is something that needs to be overhauled entirely. To upgrade Sonic stats, the player must go to the Elder Coco and upgrade either the speed or the rank count piece by piece. And to top it off, there's an entire animation sequence that plays after an upgrade. So if you wanted to do 5 upgrades to Sonic speed, you're gonna be there for at least 2 to 3 minutes, which is absolutely insane. There is a mod out there that completely cuts out the animation and makes the process less tedious, but it doesn't completely solve the issue. You should be able to go to the Elder Coco, select the amount of upgrades you want, and be off after the little animation plays. This entire thing should take no more than 15 seconds to make multiple upgrades. Watch the animation and leave. Another huge problem with this game that needs to be fixed is Sonic Frontiers' version of the Blood Moon event, where all the defeated enemies come back to life. The first time you play, all the lights are pretty and the slot machine is kinda cool, but not when it repeats several times throughout the game. No, thank you. One time I was doing that night puzzle I mentioned earlier and the slot machine thing just jumped me out of nowhere. Before I knew it, there were like 75 different light sources on the screen. I couldn't tell what on earth I was supposed to do. Puzzle I was doing, get this, involved side looping small streams of freaking light, but with all this jank on the screen, I couldn't probably see what I was supposed to side loop. And it doesn't help that there's a big old slot machine taking up a decent size of my viewing area, and I couldn't tell it to piss off through the game settings because for some reason that seemed to be missing, although you can do that for almost all of the in-game HUD. So I literally just had to give up and wait for the night cycle to finish and then try the damn puzzle after the entire day cycle had completed. And because I couldn't speed up the cycle or make Sonic sleep until night, I had to wait like 15 minutes just to do one tiny puzzle again. Now do you see how all these little annoyances on their own, inconvenient, can really pile up quickly and sour the user experience? I love Sonic Frontiers, but after that experience, I was so frontiered out. I had to put the game down because I couldn't stand it at that point. And I assure you, that's not what the devs want. So if any developers are seeing this, please take all of these points into consideration. The game is still fresh out, so there's more than enough time to make a big old quality of life update and fix these issues plaguing the game. Now, I must ask you, the viewer, to do your part. I need you to gas this joint up, give us a cheeky like, drop a comment entailing every bug, problem you've encountered in Frontiers and whether you agree with this video, and subscribe if you want more content like this. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Temzy out. Peace.